Hey guys, MrPokke here, back with another video, and this is going to be my second last early access video featuring Tribbie. I've made the early access guide as well as the Redux guide. You can check it out in the previous, and this one is going to be a zero cycle showcase, or more specifically kind of pertaining to the question, instead of debating of is Tribbie better or is Robin better or who do you pull, why not just run both? So I've cooked up a couple of zero cycle runs. I'm going to be splitting them in two different videos. The first of all featuring the current MOC 12, which is going to be this right here, featuring the True Swarm boss as well as the Nikador boss that we fought before, right? And I will be showcasing the double zero cycle featuring the exact same team comp with Aglaia, Tribbie, Robin as well as Sunday, right? Everybody is going to be at E0. At this point, my Tribbie has already unlocked the Island 1, which I'm going to be explaining a little bit later. But for this current Memory of Chaos 12, the Island 1 wasn't that important. We have quite a lot of damage left. This one, I did it in full E0S0. Yeah, full E0S0. I'll show you guys run a little bit. Every single round was done using Duns. I do find myself preferring the action value generated from Duns a lot more, especially in a team comp like Aglaia, who does require the speed subsets by quite a little bit, right? So let's just break down exactly how this team comp functions first before we go into the actual zero cycle. So my Tribbie build is going to be exactly the same. Right now, I really added to the Island 1 just to see how absolutely diabolically broken this is. For most of the time, all my testings in early access, everything was done using E0S0, right? So her baseline stats, 88 speed, 67 crit rate, and 205 crit damage. This is going to be 4-piece poet with the 2-piece bone. Pretty much best in slot. Don't really have too much to say. I've also mentioned in my own video, I do prefer to run Tribbie with the 4-piece poet instead of the 4-piece eagle, unless we really want to squeeze out that 200 effective speed in battle running the 4-piece eagle, right? So if you want to run a very specific setup, 135 speed would be the benchmark to go for Tribbie specifically, because usually you should be able to get 2 procs of Duns. So 135 speed, the 2-piece exactly the same, don't really have too much to change. But if you do not find yourself needing to use this additional action from Tribbie, then you can just go ahead and run this piece, which is what I personally prefer, because she does deal quite a bit of damage by herself. You've seen from all of my testings as well. I do like this additional damage on Tribbie, right? Then for the Robin, it's going to be essentially the exact same Robin build. My attack is going to be a little bit lower because I opted for a physical damage sphere over here, because for the joint attack as well as in Aglaia's early access, she already gains a shit ton of attack by herself, so she doesn't really care that much if we give her the attack boost. So getting the additional damage from Robin's physical, that's going to be a little bit better. So E0S1 Robin did not use the Island 1, and we are able to get a pretty consistent zero cycle over here. Aglaia is also going to be at an E0S1. The build is going to be exactly the same. I speed tuned my Aglaia specifically to Sunday with Duns. So this is going to be 155 speed, and then this Sunday is going to be 129 speed. If you don't want to factor in for Duns, you can just leave this at 133.4 or 134 effective, and then your Aglaia preferably hit the 160 or rather 158, around that ballpark, right? But I don't really want to go about it because, you know, the early access, the Redux are just not going to be too good, so I just work with what I had for the most of the time. And let's just break down into exactly how this run works right now. So jumping here, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of break this down a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be the run with Aglaia, Tribbie, Robin, and Sunday, and I kind of just want to break down the run for you guys right here. Honestly, it's very straightforward. There's barely any RNG involved. The biggest RNG was essentially making sure that Aglaia did not lose her Garment Maker, right? And that's gonna remind a little bit of a hit towards the second wave. The first wave is super straightforward. So the first thing I want to point out is for this specific setup, or like how this team comp work with both Tribbie and Robin, is that their additional damage, they can stack with one another, right? So Robin's additional damage, as Tribbie additional damage, they can all be applied to the same attack by Aglaia. And Aglaia is the one with joint attack, which means that she can basically apply both twice. So I would say that for this specific setup, Aglaia stands to be the biggest benefactor. I think she is one of, if not the strongest benefactor of this team comp with Tribbie plus Robin. You can use a Phase Yell over here, but the problem with running Phase Yell is that your 4th slot, in order to do the highest amount of damage, it will really depend if it's going to be Topaz or Mosaic. Mosaic would be pretty good, but I think it's gonna need a little bit more of a pilot to improve his relics for like a 4-piece eagle, and when do you use your skill and all that. Whereas Sunday is a little bit more straightforward. I think it was a lot easier and more accessible to the majority of the player base, right? So we're just gonna go right in. First things first, I'm just gonna be attacking the guy in the middle, very straightforward, and then just cast all of Robin's buff. I want to save Robin's ultimate after Aglaia goes first to gain the maximum action value. I am gonna be giving us this buff right here. Pop in. Wait, just... Yep. gets off the Tribbie out because of Sunday, and then we are gonna follow up with the Aglea ultimate immediately afterwards. Get one more extra turn. Tribbie is gonna give another 18,000 follow-up attack, and then we're gonna follow up with a Robin ultimate immediately after this. And then after Robin card's ultimate, Tribbie would have used up a follow-up attack from all 3 teammates. I'm just gonna be going for the basic attack over here because I don't really want to kill this guy too fast, so I just went for the basic. And then we are going to be popping off the Aglea. Honestly, doing a lot of guys, basically saving up Tribbie's ultimate for the next wave, because I realized that we are dealing so much damage that if I were to use Tribbie's ultimate right now, the enemy will die way too quickly. So with this specific setup, you can see we just get enough damage to clear off Olumatron without even using Tribbie's ultimate. So the alternative scenario is if I were to use Tribbie's ultimate right here, I would have probably killed a little bit too early, which means that my Aglea cannot generate enough energy for herself to pivot her into wave 2, right? Because I really want her to get as much energy as possible, because without wave 1, she will lose out on the ultimate cast later bit. Because in this specific MOC, the energy buffs only happen at the start of the next wave, right? So for this specific setup, you would still run into energy problems if you're not careful, especially in a zero cycle environment, right? So now we do get ourselves the wave 2. We'll instantly cast off with Tribbie's ultimate just to get the Duns activated. Refresh all of our stuff, so now that when we cast the ultimate, we can also let go of another Tribbie follow-up, right? And you can see over here the constitution of the attack. This purple number and that white number, these two are both the additional damage from Robin as well as Tribbie combined, which is why Aglea's drone attack is, in my opinion, the biggest benefactor in this specific setup, because she stands to gain a lot of additional damage, right? Tribbie and Robin, they are like the damage dealers to on top of Aglea, and Aglea is sort of like the wheelchair which drives all of these additional attack procs towards the course of the entire battle, right? And then Sunday is going to be there to drive Aglea even further. So all of this team comes up very nicely with one another. And of course, Government Maker can also deal all of the additional damage from Robin as well as Tribbie, right? So this damage, this is all single target, by the way, right? 780k. Don't really want to talk about it too much, and then we're gonna get hit with this over here. So this is essentially sort of like the first check, which is you kind of want to get rid of all of the pillars before this ultimate goes away, right? So you shouldn't have any energy issues right here unless you messed up your wave 1. If you messed up wave 1, then you might encounter a little bit of energy problems, and then this ultimate is going to go away and the whole run will just collapse, right? We didn't rely on a Sunday ultimate here because this was a little bit of RNG. Maybe we can hit a little, but this is essentially almost zero RNG. Just make sure that you save up the damage. Don't do too much damage right here. Cast the ultimate, and then you can just push your Supreme State all the way to the bottom, which is going to be the next cycle. So at this point, Aglea is going to be remaining the Supreme State all the way towards the end. Right? So you can see ridiculous amounts of damage, and right here, after Robin casts off the basic attack, we are able to get off the energy to cast another Robin ultimate, right? So right here, I'm kind of calculating, should I be using my skill or should I be using my basic? So I was thinking to myself, okay, you know what, since we are going to be getting a lot of attacks from Aglea, Sunday, Government Maker, we are going to be able to safely secure, so I just want to deal a little bit more damage. And you can see over here, it is actually quite a decent amount, factoring in Tribbie's additional damage, right? So this is still 54k, pretty nice. Aglea goes for follow-up for 1 million, but this 1 million is not a raw 1 million, right? It's from the fact that you did in fact break the spears. Now we enter into phase 2. We don't want to do anything right here, so you can see that we essentially don't really have any RNG whatsoever. This part over here, I can't really remember if we needed the ultimate, but ideally we do get enough ultimate to get us the final hit. So we'll kind of see if we actually need it. I really kind of a little bit forgot. The exact same thing happens. Very chill, almost zero RNG. So we're just gonna activate our ultimate right now, refresh the buff, and we pull up Aglea. Yep, so we're gonna buff this up, and then Aglea is just gonna do Aglea things, and then after Aglea goes for this first attack with Mimo Sprite, and then we'll cast off our Robin ultimate, right, to bring everybody up once again. And after Robin casts the ultimate, Tribbie, you can kind of see if you have enough action value remaining. So for my Aglea, because my speed wasn't high enough, I was thinking if this Aglea speed was fast enough, you can just cast off a Duns, and maybe you could squeeze out even one more action. But unfortunately, we didn't even need it because the damage was already enough. So we're just going to be going for our normal basic attack, and Tribbie is just going to be doing the refreshing the luminosity buff because you absolutely need this 24% rest pen. So there's no other play here. Sunday is going to bring up Aglea right here. So this is basically the final hit, and you can see we should have a lot of energy. This, remember, E0, right? This is E0 Aglea, E0 Sunday, E0 Tribbie, as well as E0 Robin. Everybody here is completely E0, so not too big of an issue because, you know, we do get enough energy. I would say that the biggest RNG is probably just making sure that you do not lose this Garment Maker at wave 1. If you lose it at wave 1, that's going to be very bad. So you can see over here, pop this. I wanted to see if we can get the extra turn, right? So I wanted to try my luck a little bit. Unfortunately, it was a little bit off from the Danzan. So now that I know it's not going to be enough, I'm just going to finish off with the Garment Maker. I almost gave up, but I think, you know what? I think this is completely fine. So we pop this off here. Sunday is going to give us another ultimate, which means we can trigger up another Tribbie follow-up for the final follow-up attack from Tribbie. Final buff from Sunday, and this drone attack would have to end, right? So you can see 137k, boom, perfect ending. 2.24 million. To be fair, it is inflated because of the spirits, but I can see all this additional damage are coming from Tribbie, then all of this other additional damage is going to come in from Robin, and then the damage by itself from Aglea. So this is a very synergistic team comp. I would say very satisfying to play as well, right? So this is gonna be the side against MOC12 Nikador. You can see 155 speed is the exact same setup, E0 S1, and yes, this is done with a E0 Tribbie, right? But a run after this, where I'm gonna be doing for the first half, it was done using an E1 Tribbie, because by that point I already activated it. But rest assured, you do not need this E1 Tribbie in order to achieve a similar result. You can see later on we do have quite a little bit of leeway towards the end, right? So this is gonna be the first run. I'm now gonna be showing you guys the second run, which is the one against the first half completely off element. This can also be done with D Herta, but instead of Sunday, you could pretty much just run an average slot. I did find, however, that using specifically Tribbie and Robin with D Herta, your erudition slot's driver status, it might not be as high. What I mean is, D Herta most likely would still prefer to run erudition, Tribbie, D Herta, and Remembrance Trailblazer does offer us a lot of value. I'm not saying that Remembrance Trailblazer is better than Robin, but from what I've seen, I'm going to be showing you guys the run in the next video, which is the D Herta Zero Cycle against the Flame Reaver. You can see how the setup runs by itself, right? But for this specific video, I'm just going to be talking about Tribbie, Robin, Sunday with Aglea. So this is going to be more or less off element, especially against the bug boss later on, and you will see that we would have barely just enough damage to clear the first wave because it is gonna be off element, right? So we're just gonna do the exact same thing as per normal, no RNG whatsoever. Doesn't really matter who gets hit here, as long as you can cast off Robin's ultimate later, it's gonna be fine, right? So we're gonna be waiting for this hit. Pop off our Garment Maker. We're not gonna have enough energy for Robin right here. We don't have the E2, so we're just gonna do a basic and we get hit by a minion. So this, I would say, is one of the only RNGs where you need Robin to get hit over here. If Robin doesn't get hit by both minions, then you basically have to reset because you might not have enough action value, right? So now that Robin got the ultimate off, we're just gonna pop it off. Rise up. The exact same thing is going to happen. For Tribbie specifically, we are just going to activate our ultimate and not get any value from Danzans because I want to gain as much energy as possible, right? So I did intentionally use a skill over here because from what I've tested, I'm dealing way too much damage, right? This is way too much damage. I don't want to kill them so quickly. So if you have an E0 Tribbie, maybe you're going to be using a basic attack here. But I just want to lower my damage output, right? I wanted to lower my damage output. So pop this off, 556k, getting rid of the minion. Then we're going to do the exact same thing again, tackling this guy, and the bad guy is more or less going to be dead right here. So it's a lot of damage after the hit from Garment Maker, and we still have, yep. So this entire action over here, which was going to be a potential Aglea drone attack hit, would have been actually better because if she actually hit that, she can actually generate enough energy for wave 2. You will notice that because I'm dealing so much damage with this E1 Tribbie, it kind of bite me back in the ass because I actually lost the uptime on Garment Maker because I couldn't get off this one additional attack, which I'm going to show you guys later. So which is why I say this E1 Tribbie is completely unnecessary and you can do the exact same thing using a full E0 team, right? So going forward, Garment Maker is going to pop this off, very high damage, very good true damage, and then this guy's going to summon the True Swarm things. This is gonna be a little bit of RNG as per every single time we do against True Swarm, which is if they continuously hit the same target over and over, because of the wind shear and the damage, you are probably gonna die, right? So ideally, you want to spread out the damage so that none of the units die. That's basically the only RNG. Energy-wise, hopefully they hit Garment Maker or Aglaia so that we can get the ultimate uptime. But you can see over here, we are gonna be missing a little bit, which is extremely unfortunate. If I had the additional attack from the wave 1 just now, I would have been able to get the additional energy to maintain this supreme state all the way. But because you can see over here, we didn't get hit by the True Storm again, so we're once again getting a little bit not sufficient energy. So I'm trying to just wait for the bugs to go first and then wait for this Garment Maker to go. And then I cast off a Tribbie DDD because do remember the DDD impacts Mimo sprites as well, right? So because of this DDD, we can in fact get another action. But unfortunately, if either Garment Maker or Aglaia or something got hit a little bit more, we could have gotten the ultimate to maintain this uptime. So you can see, unfortunately, it was not quite enough and we are going to be losing Garment Maker. But luckily for us, after this hit, we'll immediately get back Garment Maker right here. So it's not really the end of the road, so we can just kind of catch back. Boom, and then we're gonna pop our ultimate, and then we just have to rebuild our stacks all over again. But you can see over here, the damage is gonna be very, very sufficient. We still have one more Robin ultimate. Sunday hasn't even go yet. Pop this, and then Robin goes in. So at this current juncture, the guy is basically definitely dead. So if you were using an E0 Tribbie, ideally you will want to wait for Sunday to go first and bring up Aglaia one more time before popping off this Robin ultimate. But since I know for a fact that I have way too much damage, I'm just gonna be instantly dealing the base into an ultimate, essentially wasting one of the Aglaia's turn. Follow this up with a Sunday, pop bro up, cast an ultimate, and then we are gonna be able to get a 0 cycle here with a lot of room remaining. Once again, this is not really to show, you know, get both units, but it's more or less to signify how Tribbie and Robin can work together to achieve this 0 cycle, right? So you can see over here, because we basically wasted 2 Aglaia attacks, which could have been done if we waited for Sunday, there was a lot of room, and it could have definitely been possible with an E0 Tribbie, right? So the relics is gonna be exactly the same as my previous team, so I'm not gonna be going through them too much. And with that, we have come to my first 0 cycle breakdown video in the early access review. It's gonna be a little bit different from the emotion and anticipation that we actually do on stream at twitch.tv/MrPokke, because all those are done on the fly, right? This one is a little bit more analytical. I really test out the failures, know where I fail, where to improve, get the speed tuning down. So I think it's a little bit more straightforward, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of content. I will be posting one last early access video next episode, which is gonna be the one against the brand new MOC 12 boss Flame Weaver, right? So this is just a setup. Why not both, featuring Tribbie as well as Robin? If you were to ask me, right, if you were to ask me between Tribbie and Robin, who should you be pulling, I would say if you can, there's no harm getting both, especially if you're somebody that's interested in 0 cycle, because they work exceptionally well, and this is only for one Remembrance DPS, that's Aglaia. So in the future, if more R-type can come out, I wouldn't be too surprised if Robin can still maintain her place in the meta, right? Also, E1 Tribbie is absolutely diabolical, and this is the only Tribbie that I've activated so far. The rest of the stuff, I'll be waiting for the live server because I don't really want to spoil myself too much, right? So with that, we have come to the end of this content. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, or if you guys want to see any sort of future 0 cycles on the early access, I'll try to cook them up when I do have the time, right? So word of the day is gonna be both. Join Twitch, join YouTube, join Discord, join Twitter, all the those guys. See you guys next time. Take care.